Welcome to That's Good Sports. I am Brandon. Not all football cliches are true, Perna. You can't beat the Patriots if you settle for field goals all day. Now, bullshit. That is no longer true. Watching the Broncos dismantle the Patriots just by Gooch blasting field goals was oddly satisfying. Drew Lock became the youngest quarterback to win at Gillette Stadium on Sunday, and he did it without throwing a single touchdown. Legendary. The Broncos beat the Patriots behind 6 Brandon Mcmanus field goals. Late turnovers, though, nearly cost the Broncos the game, and my stomach felt like I had Melvin Gordon as an Uber driver. Regardless, a big 18-12 win for the Broncos, so let's relive this beautiful affair. Whew. That's good sports. Have you considered subscribing to this channel? Please subscribe, or YouTube will cancel me. Today's episode is sponsored by manscaped.com/goodsports, and they're accelerating their body grooming dominance with the Performance Package, which now includes the Weed Whacker to clean the shrubbery protruding from your nostrils and even your ears. The Weed Whacker is the only nose hair trimmer on the market with a cordless, rechargeable lithium-ion battery that lasts for up to 90 minutes of use. Now, I'm no doctor, but if it takes you more than 90 minutes to trim your nose hair, you might have a serious medical condition and should seek help immediately. Unlike your pubes, there's no hiding nose hairs that get too long. And if your nose hairs are too long, how can you smell your pubes? So take 20% off of your nose hairs with the Weed Whacker and 20% off the price of the Performance Package when you use my discount link below, manscaped.com/goodsports, which also includes free shipping. If you hear those grunts, it's just my baby trying to shit. I'm on dad duty right now and shooting a video with the baby who should be sleeping. Very tricky. ESPN is also becoming notoriously terrible at game picks. All Patriots across the board at ESPN. Again, I am betrayed by Mina Kimes. And again, I was the only one to predict a Broncos win at ESPN this week. No, I don't work there now, but I do sneak into the building late at night and make my picks. Like I am one of the team. And I know exactly where Scott Van Pelt keeps his underwear. Now, I'm not gonna make you wait. No waiting, as Brandon Mcmanus in his 100th game gets the Big Dick Player Award for his perfect 6 for 6 field goals made. 2 from 50-plus yards, just 1 miss by the Gooch Luber, and the Patriots could have tied the game in the 4th and forced an overtime, where who knows what terrors would have ensued. My writing partner Will Keys tweeted that the last time a kicker won an NFL MVP award was in 1982. That was Mark Mosley, who won the award for making 20 of 21 field goals. But that was back in the day when kickers weren't allowed to practice and were forced to play the game Melvin Gordon. I mean drunk. But I now ask you to join Will and I as we promote Brandon Mcmanus as the true NFL MVP and help him become the first kicker to win the award since 1982. Russ's arm or Brandon's leg? You choose. One's gotta go. No, sorry. This is a 54-yarder by Mcmanus, which was the most satisfying of the day, not just because it was the longest, but also because Belichick declined a penalty on 3rd down, betting Mcmanus wouldn't hit his 6th field goal on the day. Bill knows a lot about football, but he knows jack shit about the Gooch. Don't you, Bill? Now, Drew Lock had maybe the worst statistical game you will ever see. His stats were shit, but he played well. Ignore Lock's passer rating, ignore his lowly 10 completions. He had some perfect, and I mean perfect passes dropped. 2 by Albert O in the end zone, and 1 by DeShawn Hamilton that literally bounced off his chest. I'm not trying to knock the ball catchers here either. Well, maybe Hamilton. That's inexcusable. All of the drop passes by Denver were contested passes. The Patriots had great coverage all day, and still Locke was firing dimes. In the NFL, though, you have to make at least some of those catches in the game, and I think Albert O will get there. It was his first ever NFL start, and he and Fant, I think, once together, could murder defenders when they're on the field. As long as that's where the murdering stops, which I do have to note when recapping a Patriots game discussing elite tight end duos. Drew Lock could have fit the football through an opening the size of a squirrel's asshole on some of his throws in this game. Play calling. I'm incredibly annoyed with Pat Shurmur's one-dimensional play calling. The aggressiveness is great. I like that part of it, but it needs to be balanced with quick, easy throws for your young QB. He's calling plays with unchecked aggression like he's running Cobra Kai. And the Broncos need a little Miyagi-Do to balance on offense to help when the defense is playing lights out. The Denver defense is coached so much better than the offense right now. And yes, I've been watching a lot of Cobra Kai. Drew Lock's first pass of the game was a 43-yard dime to Timmy Patrick. Then he tossed what could have been a touchdown if Albert O could have made a spectacular grab in the end zone. I like that the referees were not calling a lot of penalties in this game. They picked up that flag on Albert O. Broncos fans will complain. There should have been PI on a couple of those end zone throws. Personally, I think that's exactly how corners should be allowed to cover. If anything, I blame the Broncos receivers for not taking advantage of the fact that they could have probably gotten away with pushing off all game, which we saw Tim Patrick do on the very first completion. I mean, what can't Tim Patrick do? His helmet is an elite NFL corner because Jesus Christ Jackson nearly picked off Drew Lock taking a shot into the end zone. That was a good throw by Lock, but he's got to look off the safety first to open that window up deep. When he learns that, we will say he locked off the safety. It's one of those things a veteran QB will do by instinct, but luckily Patrick really had his head in this game. And he's been the Broncos' best receiver for the last 3 games. The bigger issue was that Pat Shurmur kept calling 30-yard fade routes 8 yards away from pay dirt. But coach, that's the back of the end zone. Run through it, damn it. Run through it all the way. To where? Just run further deep. I don't know why Shurmur sounds like a demon. Tim Patrick also made a big dongus catch on a 3rd and 21. Shurmur definitely has about 60 plays that work for that situation. In fact, I think Shurmur tries to get the offense into those situations so he can call 4 verts, 4 streaks, 4 fades, whatever you want to label them. But hell of a catch and throw by Lock and Patrick on 3rd and 21. The biggest critique I'd have for Drew Lock was that he took a couple bad sacks in this game. Something we really haven't seen him do yet. Luckily, the 13-yard loss right before halftime just made Brandon Mcmanus look more badass and gave the Broncos a 12-3 lead heading into half. Mcmanus also tied Matt Prater for most 50-plus yard field goals as a Bronco, most field goals made in a game by a Bronco. Oddly, Prater missed a 57-yarder for the Lions on Sunday. Now, you might know this, but here at the That's Good Sports halftime show, I do my best to highlight a heroic story from the game you may have missed. This week, I salute the NFL cameraman, whose only job is to get, so close-up shots of the quarterback's ass. Seeing those butt close-ups got Kevin Harlan thinking if it weren't for that COVID plexiglass, he'd be fisting Trent Green during the commercial breaks.
What were your first
on the other side of the plexiglass,
yeah. I try to fist it, but I go bang right into that thing. Try to fist it from behind.
Now, I really like the pumpkin carving coming out of New England. You've got a Bill Belichick here as a pumpkin, Cam Newton, the Patriots logo, and of course an artist's interpretation of what Robert Kraft looks like when a prostitute makes him climax. Boy, am I excited for Halloween. And Philip Lindsay has his very own shoe tie guy in tie-dye. Shoe tie guy in tie-dye. Man, if only Melvin Gordon had a DUI guy in tie-dye, maybe he could have played this week. And now I am done with the Melvin Gordon jokes. The other thing you may have noticed is that nobody on earth knows how to say Albert O's last name. The rookie made his NFL debut, and the football wordsmiths of the world were not prepared, including Scott Hansen on NFL Red Zone.
Albert Obukunum, Bunum. I gotta learn Albert O's name a little bit better. Okune Bunum. We'll be practicing if they keep targeting him.
Okue Bunum was back there. Okue Bunum.
I already know there's no correct way to say Albert O's last name. It's why I committed to Albert O, or Albert O, yeah, when he scores touchdowns from day one. So sorry, Broncos Europe. I'm not sure I trust a drunk Irishman on pronunciation. The film, Call Me By Your Name, was a documentary about Albert O. After hearing announcer after announcer say his last name wrong, he was just like, you know what? Go ahead and call me by your name. And that's why he fell in love with Timothée Chalamet. What a name to be called, Timothée Chalamet. Or as my wife says, Timothy Mother may I. She wants to bone him. Now, a big reason the Broncos won this game was because of the defense, the defensive pressure, the defensive interceptions. I think with 4 sacks, 2 picks, and 2 batted passes by Shelby Harris, we have time for the balls back, sack attack, these boys don't hold nothing back segment. It is the worst defensive highlight segment in all sports. Hello, I'm Malik, I'll teach you to read. But the only word I know is sack. Here's my favorite book. It's called Sack, written by Sack, published by Sack, audiobook read by Sack on the Sack app. No, it's actually on Audible. I got a little carried away there. And then we got Bradley Chubb bulldozing his way to a strip sack of Cam Newton, who, unlike in Super Bowl 50, actually made an effort to recover the fumble. Credit Bill Belichick for coaching him up in that department. Chubb was so confident that after missing a tackle in the backfield, he starts celebrating anyway because he knows Alexander Johnson is right there to smother the runner like Pueblo green chili. Kareem Action Jackson blasting, tackling, had a huge stop here. I'm a little rusty on these, my apologies. Bryce Callahan had an interception, a pick that should have ended the game, as you can see by how the defense was celebrating. And the lock of the defense, number 37 PJ Locke, celebrates just a little too long. Simmons gave just the tip, and Callahan got the rip. Another underrated play by O.J. Moutier. Another underrated play by O.J. Moutier. And Shelby, oh my God, Shelby, all I do is slap balls and acknowledge that Brandon likes the way I slap balls. Harris slapped more balls in this game and made it very tough for Cam Newton to do anything other than throw dirt balls with his dumb arm. It was another multi-pass batting game for Shelby, which set up some majestic football ballet with the most impressive DeShawn Williams interception. Big man beauty, no longer just your favorite nudie magazine. Now the Patriots finally scored a touchdown in the fourth quarter after Cam Newton used his legs to get them into the red zone. Cam rushed for the touchdown and the Broncos clung to their 9-point lead after stopping the 2-point attempt by the Patriots. It's almost like I've seen that before. Since Cam Newton couldn't throw the ball to himself, like some Mariota, the Patriots resorted to their dirty trickery and had Julian Edelman throw a couple passes, one to Cam Newton, and gave Edelman the highest passer rating in the game. Which is nice because I don't think he can play receiver anymore. Now here's the real problem. I think Drew Lock should stop taking advice from Brett Rippon on how to close out games.
So what I did last game, Drew, after getting a lead was throw 2 interceptions. We won, so maybe you want to try that too.
Damn you, Brett. Locke's first pick was a miscommunication between him and Tim Patrick, something I think gets corrected with more reps between the two, but what I found baffling was on the next series On the first play, Pat Shurmur dials up for his young QB to go fucking deep again. Phillip Lindsay had over 100 yards in this game, was extremely effective on the ground, and that's what you ask your quarterback to do? Seems like a coach doing a terrible job at giving his young quarterback the best chance to win. Drew Lock haters will point to those 2 picks and his stats to tell you he had a horrible game. I get that. I've been making excuses for Broncos quarterbacks since 2015, when I refused to believe that Peyton Manning's body had already retired, but was just too scared to tell his giant brain. Lock and Tim Patrick will get on the same page, and I think Drew Lock has to know he shouldn't take the deep shot into double coverage just because he's got Captain No Easy Passes telling him to do it in his helmet. But he'll get there. Lock is playing in just his 7th or 8th game. Shurmur, on the other hand, has been in the league for a long time, long enough to know what shit doesn't work. His situational awareness seems lower than Cam Newton's chances at winning Comeback Player of the Year. And I do have it on good authority that Pat Shurmur tried to call 4 verts instead of the victory kneel down formation. Thanks for watching another episode of That's Good Sports.